Yeah, and I think what you're building is really interesting as well. You've got, you got NFTs, you got music, you got video, you got merch, and then like in the creative space, there's just so much that goes on behind the scenes. And I think that truthfully is like such an incredible way to like bring people into the process, because so often I think, fans are like eager to show up at premieres on YouTube when something premieres, but just the
Right.
fact that they're itching to show up and like they're present at the time of release shows that like there's a desire to like be a part of that process, even maybe before it even just hits a premiere. So I
Right.
think that's super cool that like you're using, platforms for reach but still driving people back. And maybe like one element to like really highlight is just the value of like doing this stuff all in one place. Like it is hard to have like one tool that does everything, but I think one of the
Hmm.
advantages I think to Shopify and why we see a lot of brands there and more artists and creators and experimenting in the space is there's like a whole ecosystem that like, Single does do a lot of things, but even if we couldn't, like there's probably something on Shopify that could, and you own that fully. Like you could connect the dots
Right.
across a whole bunch of stuff that you're doing in the space.
Y- For sure, definitely. I think it's a way that you can really centralize, like me, for me personally, I can centralize all my products and centralize all my projects that we're going through. We're looking to have other artists and other filmmakers. I work with other filmmakers as well to. I'm trying to convince them, hey, before you go to YouTube, maybe let us host it for a couple months and then go to
Yeah.
YouTube after that, things like that. I like, you guys have the live stream. So like you said, where people can get more and like they could watch it as like a premiere, like we could sit down, have a movie night, and hey, we're going to showcase this movie, or hey, this band's going to do a live performance over here at this show where live stream it. I look at it as a super opportunity um, to really, like I said, the community to me is the biggest thing, whatever. So whatever we're trying to build for the community. So as long as we're getting interaction with the community and talking to them, and they're giving us some feedback, and they like the artists that we're showcasing, they like the movies that we're putting out together, and like I'm able to host it all on my own and not have to do like the YouTube countdown and that type of thing. Like it's all here. I can get your, like I said, get the contact information, let people know in advance. Hey, we're doing such and such here. Come over and check us out. I think people want to be involved with it. And the more they feel involved, the more appreciative they are. And then the more we appreciate them for being involved and helping us, grow what we need to grow and build what we need to
Right.
build. Like
Yeah.
everything that happens on our platform, if you download something or you rent something, that goes back to the project or to a new project. Like we're not looking to, we're looking to build and develop as much as possible. If you rent something for the 299, the whole 299 is going back into that either project, the short to make a full animation, a feature thing like that. We're really looking to trying to build that from that aspect.
And I think fans and viewers today, like, actually really that resonates with what they want from creators from all
Mm,
sides. It's we do show up on TikTok, we do show up on YouTube, right? Like that's part
right,
of our behavior. But I think with the rise of creators today, we're also seeing an extension of them showing up on these platforms for artists that they follow and they engage with.
right,
There's like another level beyond that of saying like, oh, I know where like my dollar's going. If even just like an influencer today gets a brand deal, if it's honest and if fans like understand why that brand deal happened, they're like, oh yeah, I support this. Like I want you to have success in this. It's not just kind of like out of nowhere. And I think that
Ex-
also translates into like this space as well, where um having opportunities for fans to like maybe go that extra mile, or even not, just like make it accessible in a different way and
mm,
communicate like what it's actually doing for all the producers that you're working with and all the artists that you're working with by just premiering it literally just a little earlier, getting a little bit more out of what you're doing to like
right.
uh, kind of have that direct long-term connection and then have people show up in that way.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking for. I'm looking for a long-term connection. I'm looking to build relationships with our community, people that watch our movies. I want people to really be excited, like, okay, because we're telling people we're having we didn't even read the script yet. We're just like, this is our next, this is what we
Yeah.
have coming out, this is whatever. So we're letting people know this is what we have, so they can kind of, let's say, be a little bit more vested, like maybe be a little more excited about it, like, okay, and then, like I said, maybe with our NFT type stuff, you can go back and watch us sit at the table and hash out ideas, or you might be able to watch us do pre-production. You might be able to see an artist writing down his album type of deal, things like that. So I think
Yeah.
just like I said, letting people behind the scenes a little bit. I know behind the scenes is a kind of a let's say like a big deal, people like kind of being involved or whatever. We really want people to be involved. Like I really, it's not that I want you to just come watch, a video from us or go listen to some music we made. I really want you to be involved in the whole process. I want you
Totally.
to feel like you have a complete ownership in this. Like, hey man, I saw this when they were just writing down brainstorming or whatever. Now I see this whole animation or I see this whole movie or I see this great album. I really want people to say, I've watched this for a year and a half and this is finally coming out. And I'm very excited to see it. I want people to really be involved and just,
I love that. Yeah.
um, gravitate to it. It's not. I didn't create the like. We don't create movies and everything. I mean, of course, everybody wants to get money and things like that, but that's not the reason why we got into. We created because we wanted to share expression. We wanted to, you know what I mean? We want to give something. I've wanted to do this since like I was young. I was about 14 years old. I would be a director and filmmaker. So, and it wasn't to be like, oh, I don't want to drive a Mercedes or anything. It was like, hey, man, I really want to have these crazy ideas. I think movies always end the same way, and I don't think they should end that way. I think, music sounds the same way. I don't think it should sound that way. I think it should sound like this, whatever. So I really want to, involve people in that process and share with them. So the more they
Totally.
get
And
involved
I
with us,
also
the better.